Today we're going to be talking about something fun for Call of Duty Zombies, and what that is talking about things inside Call of Duty Zombies that everybody knows is true, but nobody really wants to admit it. You know, it's something that everyone's just kind of all aware of, but you know, you don't really want to go out and say it because of some consensus that's came out or just how people generally feel. And that's exactly what we're changing here today, because today we're going to be pointing out these things that so many people know, but nobody wants to admit. Now I'm going to share with you guys the list that I thought of, but feel free to head down to the comment section and share your own versions of these, or different things that people don't want to admit but know is true, right? Just go ahead and leave that down in the comment section. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about these things. So let's start off spicy. Black Ops Zombies aged poorly. And yeah, so this is interesting, and this has been a common thing I've been saying for a while, but before I get into why I think it's aged poorly, let me first say this. I don't think Black Ops Zombies is bad. In fact, I respect the heck out of Black Ops Zombies, because without it, we wouldn't have had these great experiences that we have now with zombies. And also, at the time, it was probably a great zombies experience. But today, it's just not. Like, going back to Black Ops Zombies isn't a great experience. You go back to it, you can play maybe a little high rounds, but besides that, what else are you gonna do on these maps? I mean, Easter eggs were in their infancy. They weren't anything too crazy at the time. I mean, you could do high rounds, but I mean, you could do those on almost any other zombies map that's came out since that. So I just don't really think there's anything that Black Ops Zombies does that continues to be great today. Winter's Wail is better than Widow's Wine, and this most definitely is probably the one that fits the title of this video more than all the other ones, because even I know Winter's Wail is better, but it's just hard to admit it because Widow's Wine, it's a little iconic. I know it's just really iconic, but let's be honest here, Winter's Wail is just better. I mean, it doesn't kill the last zombie if it hits you, and also it has an auto refill based off time instead of having to get a max ammo or go through the rounds, which is really important when you're on high rounds and you have rounds lasting a very long time. So by any stretch of the imagination, Winter's Wail is just better. The Ryzen rocket bows aren't great. Now, this is interesting because I think that most people do know this, but it takes a second to realize you know this, because just think about it like this. When you think about the bows on the Ryzen rocket, the first thing you think of is the lightning bow, right? And that bow is great, but there's also 3 other bows on the map, and that's when you start to realize that, wait a second, yeah, those other bows ain't that great. I mean, there's the fire bow. I mean, there's, I guess, it can kill on high rounds, but it's not ideal. You have the keeper bow, which, I mean, again, can kill on high rounds, but and then there's maybe the wolf bow, who, I guess if you line up the zombies right, they'll kill on high rounds, but for the most part, most of the bows are kind of meh, to be honest, and it's really the lightning bow carrying all of the other bows on this map. The original perk system was actually not good. Now this one is interesting, but I think most people, if you take 1 second to think about it, you would remember, like, yeah, the original perk system kind of wasn't epic, I guess, and it has to do with kind of the main problem that Treyarch set out to fix with Black Ops 4, and the problem is that you had a 4 perk limit, and the thing is that basically if you were playing on co-op or solo, you had 3 to 4 crutch perks. So every time you played zombies, you just played with the exact same perks every single time. I mean, think about it. On solo, you need quick revive, juggernog, speed cola, double tap. Like, those are near necessities. Like, those are near crutch perks, but that's already 4 perks, so you already max out, so you can't try to experiment with any other builds or anything like that, because let's be honest, like, it wasn't really worth it because those were kind of the crutch perks. Now, there's exceptions to this later in zombies, obviously, but for the most part, this was a major problem with the original perk system, and is even why Treyarch tried something new in Black Ops 4. Most Black Ops 3 Easter eggs actually weren't that good. Now this one is a little bit of a spicy one, but let's think critically about this one. Like, let's go through the Easter eggs we had during Black Ops 3. You first start off with Shadows of Evil. The Easter egg is incredibly short, and on top of that is really held back by the fact that you could only do it if you had 4 people in the game who were coordinating at the end of the Easter egg, which wasn't always easy. Then of course we have the Ryzen, and I think this is what skews everyone's perception of Easter eggs in Black Ops 3, because the Ryzen was actually one of, if not the perfect main Easter egg in Zombies. But we have to continue, because next we got Zetsubo no Shima. Zetsubo no Shima, collect the 3 cogs and play an underwhelming boss fight, right? And that's not great. You had Garad, which could be fun, but along the way you have to deal with stupid steps like the bomb step, Valkyrie drone, and even the Mangler step. All not great steps, but then you get to the last map, Revelations, and do I really need to say anything about that Easter egg? IW Zombies is more replayable than most Treyarch zombies. Yes, this one is another hot one, but I have some pretty clear logic for why I believe this, and I mean, it has a little bit to do with the gameplay, but what I really think it has to do with more than anything is the Easter egg rewards you got for completing the Easter egg, because you got freaking Director's Cut. I mean, Director's Cut was really cool, and it made every map a lot more replayable, just spawning with all the perks and all the points, so you won't have to worry about doing the kind of mundane stuff that you would normally do inside of a zombies game. And on top of that, it had a mode called Boss Rush, which was really cool too, so you know, if you just want to do that, it made it a lot easier to just get on and play, because you didn't have to worry about doing, as I said, all the mundane stuff, so it just made it a lot more approachable where you had things like this in the game. Origins isn't perfect, and this one hurts me to say, but sadly it's true, and I hate to list this off, but there are some major problems with Origins. Let's just get it done with. First off, the mud. It's not cool. I hate to tell everybody, but the mud's not good. It's not fun. It doesn't really add anything to the game. I think the only reason it was in the game originally was because the old consoles couldn't render everything fast enough, so they had to slow the player's movement. Next is the portals to the crazy place, and the fact that you needed to have a gramophone each time you wanted to go through any portal. This slowed down the gameplay a lot, because you had to make sure you always had it with you, and if you didn't have it with you, you're running back all over the map, and even when you do have it with you, you have to put it down, and then you have to wait for it to open, which just slowed down the gameplay so freaking much. Next is the Easter egg. The Easter egg, a major problem with it is that even if you're playing solo, you have to build all 4 staffs, and that just takes so freaking long, and it's just like sometimes you just don't feel like doing all that when you want to do an Easter egg. And finally, kind of sticking on those same staffs, let's be honest, much like the bows on the Ryzen, they're not that great for the most part, especially on high rounds. I mean, literally only one of the staffs kills on round 100 plus. It's the ice staff. The rest flat out don't kill, and what's the point of the wonder weapon if it doesn't kill on higher rounds? So it hurts to say it, but yes, Origins isn't perfect. But that's about it for this video, and I'd love to hear all of your guys' thoughts on everything I've said throughout this video, but also I'd love to hear your own ideas for things that fit this same mold, things that people know are true but just don't want to admit it. Leave all of your ideas of that down in the comment section down below, but that's going to wrap it up for me. If you guys did enjoy the video, definitely do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and all that great stuff, but I'm going to go. I'll catch you guys next stream, video, or whatever the heck it may be, and laters, guys.